Just future Sandra popping in here to say that if you're shopping this Valentine's Day for your loved one and you want to get them probably a romance book, but also a little something more, you can get a chocolate box by the Setinya group. They also offer a wide variety of boxes for jewelry and chocolate and gifting, so I will link them down below and you'll have all the links to their website and even to this chocolate box if you like when you shop around for Valentine's Day. It's a great little complimentary gift to a book that you might buy for your loved one. They're not sponsoring this video, however, they kindly sent me this box for me to review and to talk to you guys about. So I hope that you'll check them out. Hello readers, welcome back to my channel where I talk all things book and bookish related. So today I thought to do this little book recommendation, but more like my favorite romance books. And to be fair, I think half of these aren't really considered romance, but like more like a romantic subplot. So yeah, half are romance books and the other half are just books that like had such real and raw relationships that I just could not include them in this video. So I hope you enjoy. I have 7 books. It's not that many. I feel like I haven't been reading romance books in a long time. I used to read them more avidly when I was younger, and you know, I had that Wattpad stage in my life growing up. So yes, I want to reconnect with the genre. I have been reading a few romance here and there, but nothing has stuck out. Like I read one of Emily Henry's book, I read one of Sally Thorne's book, and they were good, but they were not like, wow, this is my favorite romance, you know, like. So unfortunately that's the situation that I'm in right now. I obviously read all the like popular ones back in the day, like the After series. I obviously read the 50 Shades series. I read the Sylvia Day Bear to You series. So those are just like, you know, regular romances. And I also read the Jojo Moyes series, Me Before You. That one used to be one of my top favorites. But today I just want to talk about the ones that have just really stuck a chord with me in the last, I would say, 5 to 10 years. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So the first book I want to talk about is Twilight. I know, okay, I understand, and I know what you guys are thinking, but this book really was like the high epitome of romance, paranormal romance to me as I was growing up. And I know it's toxic, it's not really great. I feel like there has been some character growth. Like I reread the Twilight series a few years ago, but obviously this is not like high romance, this is not like the ideal romance. But in the book itself, I think that when New Moon came out and when the separation between Bella and Edward was so impactful for me, and not just in the romance sense, like I was estranged from one of my family members and I could feel the grief that you go to when you're separated by someone you really love deeply. And I think in that way it was very realistic, and for that reason this series always is going to hold like a very specific spot in my heart. And I ship Bella with Edward. I'm sorry, it's true. Like I know, like I've gone through literature classes, like I have a whole degree and a half and 2 degrees, whatever. I do still think that Twilight series is one of the greatest romances out there, even though it's always going to be up for debate, and even though I don't agree with the toxicity of how Edward went about certain things. Another book is The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. I don't know, like I know like this is not 100% a romance, but it's just the relationship between Hazel and Gus really stuck with me for like weeks and months and years, and I was crying for a very long time, and I made everyone read this. I made all of my friends come to the movie premiere. It was something so transformative. It's just that reminder that love gives you that newfound hope, and how grateful we are for the people that we love, how limited our time on earth really is, and how we have to make the most with our relationships and whatnot. I'm going through the oldest books first on this list, and then I'm gonna go through the books that are more recent, but I really couldn't leave this one out. Then we have Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, and this is a cult classic. Everyone has put this on their list, I'm pretty sure. Just the relationship between Elizabeth and Mr. Darcy is just so compelling to read. Like, I feel like this is one of the first like enemies to lovers book out there, and it really just shows that like loving someone is more than just like the attraction and the allure. It's really like getting to know them, and them like infuriating you sometimes, because it's like having to love someone for their own intellect, for their own way of seeing things, to like just like, I think love has that transformative way of expanding your brain, seeing how different people actually lead their lives and still loving them for it. And I think this one is just an amazing love story of all time. Then we got Normal People by Sally Rooney, and I think this is another example of like really transcendental love, really like what it is to know someone and love someone and be there for someone and understand them and be careful with their heart and understand when you mess up. And what I love the most about this book is that there's that friendship aspect to love. It's not only that familiarity, but it's also that even though we're apart, we get back together and we understand each other and we try and we show up for each other type of love. And there are so many lovely quotes in here that just I cannot. If you know about this book, then you know. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend it, even though it's not for everyone. But this really is one of those books that really transformed my heart and really spoke to me, because I've been in this situation and I really can feel like this is really real. Like, this is a very real portrayal of love, and I've never encountered such raw and real portrayal in a fictional setting like this. So highly recommend Normal People by Sally Rooney. Then I got The Duke and I. It's the first book in the Bridgerton series by Julia Quinn. And to be honest, this book is not here not because it like made me feel any way or like made me feel like, oh my god, this is real love or whatever, but it's just that I haven't read romance in so long, and let alone I've never read any Regency romance, and this book just opened something new in me. It just made me realize that I actually do love romance books a lot, and I have been shied off from romance for a few years now because of you know when you go into academia and you study literature classes, like this type of romance books, these novels are so frowned upon, and it's really unfortunate. And I think that I had to read this book to remember, like, reading is also for pleasure, reading's also for feeling butterflies and feeling anticipation, and it's much like love. You know, you have the quiet love, you have the sustained love, but you also have the excitement, and that excitement for reading and the excitement for love is kind of what this reminded me of. And obviously this doesn't come without flaws. Obviously Daphne and Simon go through a lot of things, and they like have that typical enemy to friends to lover kind of story arc, and I really enjoy that. I think this is one thing that I'm kind of coming to terms with, that I love enemies or friends to lovers a lot. And yeah, this just really made me want to read more romance, and for that it's on this list this year. And another book on this list is the Heartstopper series by Alice Oseman. I don't know why I'm holding up volume 2, but yes, I'm holding up volume 2. But I read this entire series. I couldn't stop reading it. I just love the representation of Charlie and Nick's relationship. I love that we're finally getting queer young adult books that are not just full of trauma and drama, that it's really just very beautiful, two characters that try to understand each other and show up for each other, that have their own issues, and that it's not only just about being queer. I think this is going to change a lot of young adult lives, and I think like for queer adults, it like brings that like sense of ease and like finally. And this is what like I felt reading this. Like, it made me tear up so much, and just talking about it, it makes me want to tear up, because when I was in high school I got bullied and I got outed a lot, and I was even like close to understanding what I was feeling. And you know, a few times I've tried to talk people around me and try to like put into words what I was feeling, and I got shut down and I got really shamed, and if I had more books like these growing up, I wouldn't have felt so alone. I wouldn't have focused so much on getting male validation or trying to prove that, you know, oh, I'm straight because I'm dating this guy, or this guy likes me, etc. I think like seeing young LGBTQIA plus romance books come out more and more is really a heartfelt and an amazing thing that we are experiencing right now. And the last book that I wanted to share is Call Me By Your Name, and also the sequel of Call Me By Your Name, but I couldn't pull them out of this stack. They're like really deep in those big stacks and I didn't want to go to an hour trying to find them. But yes, these two books by Andre Aciman really tugged on my heartstring. It's about first loves, it's about like losing love, it's so much about how it is to love, how it is to have a second chance at love. And these two books really impacted me so strongly. I genuinely don't know how I would be and how I would feel if I didn't have these two books in my life and if I hadn't read these two books in my life. So there is a vlog I think on this channel when I read Find Me, and I was crying and like I was reading a bunch of queer literature and it just like transformed my entire heart. So I think Call Me By Your Name was really another cultural movement, and it was really another exploration of the heart. So honestly, I had to put this one on this list. Obviously, there are so many more books that I can talk about. These are just the books that I loved because they had something transformative in me, not only in their romance and the romantic trope and the romantic relationships, but just the way that the characters felt and the ways that the characters discovered themselves through love and through relationship that really impacted me and that I wanted to share. Obviously, I'm going to be reading more romance books this year, so hopefully next year I'll have different recommendations and more romantic recommendations, but feel free to share some of your favorite romance books. They don't have to be like these big heartfelt books that I've shared, but yes, let me know down below because I am looking for more romance book recommendations. If you like this video, like, comment, and subscribe. All readers and non-readers are more than welcome on my channel. My goal here is to inspire you to read more and to help you find your next favorite book. If I can do that, I'll be more than happy, and so let me know. As always, everything will be linked down below, and I'll see you on the next book video. Bye!